Yeah, no, I think that's a great example of everybody grieves differently. It doesn't matter, where you lie on the line of, whether you're male or female or young or old or like whatever it is, it's still, I, I think everybody handles it differently and everybody has different meaning. And I know, again, and I'm talking in generalities, y'all don't, but like some men, when they, retire, for example, their careers mean a real lot to them. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll say, so like there's this thing about, well, what's that? They should be happy they're retired. And they're like, yeah, but I don't go to an office every day anymore. I don't do whatever any day. Or they
Yeah.
sell a business and they have all this money, they're sitting on, and they're like, but I kind of liked having my business. It's these things of like, you should be happy.
Right.
Well, but it's still a change. And I think, we're not great with change. We are not great with change.
Yeah.
And I say to people sometimes, like, listen, I think we go through these little deaths, breakups and job changes and stuff like that till we get to the big show,
Right.
until we get to our own.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, it's like, how do we work with those so that we can find purpose, we can learn something from them, but also taking the time to get to that point. Because if you try to rush there,
Yeah.
you're going to fall back.
Well, yeah,
That,
validation is so important there too. Like,
Mhm.
take for, your example of like people who have worked their entire lives and just don't know how not to. So I
Right.
have two uncles very much in that category.
Mhm.
Um, Super hardworking men their entire lives, and then they retired and they're like, well, now
Yeah.
what?
What do I do now?
What
Yeah.
do I do?
Yeah.
And one of them has like started traveling a lot, which is really great, which
Mm.
is something he never, I mean, except for when he was deployed in the Air Force, he never
Oh,
did.
wow.
That was all he did. Anytime he traveled was to go to war. And now
Mm.
he actually goes on trips and he goes and he does these things. He does all the fun stuff. But it's like, it's not that people necessarily, I don't want to say like need our validation as if to say like what we think is that important, because
Mhm.
invariably it's not. It has nothing to do with what we think, it's what they think about themselves. But to be able to validate that experience and the should, I fucking hate that word. My
Yeah.
God, I hate that word. I say it all the time and I hate that word.
I know it stinks.
And I say it more like I impose that upon myself. I'd like to think much more often than I do on other people. But
Mhm.
I do deal with that a lot in my line of work as a funeral director and as a grief specialist with
Mhm.
a lot of people who are thinking like, I should feel this way. I should be
Right.
over this. I should not be crying. I should like replace like the shoulds on all this
Yeah.
stuff in there. It's the downfall of like the emotional experience in my brain because
Mhm.
like, yeah, you retired, you worked your whole life and you should be happy. You're not. So
You're
do
not.
something about it. Like
Right.
it's
Right.
this, you're still here. You still have agency. You still can do something about this. So if you're not happy
Right.
being retired, you don't necessarily have to work full time. Take up a
Nope.
hobby. Go
Yeah.
golfing. No, just go do something.
Go
Uh,
do something.
while you have time to be able to do it, like we don't have to fall into
Mhm.
the I should thing. Like don't it puts pressure on us in a way that is not conducive to moving forward. It's like
Mhm.
we're putting pressure on ourselves. Like I should be feeling a different way right now. Okay, so where
Right.
do we go with that though? Like what do we do? Because
Right.
we could stay in the should forever. I don't
Mhm.
recommend it. It's not a good place.
No,
You're not
not a
gonna
good
keep
place to
it
be.
forever. You will outgrow that very
Mm-mm.
quickly. So yeah, I hear it a lot. I hear the shoulds a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
But
many.
I think it's so individual. Like you said, okay, so you don't like it. You
Right,
retired, everybody thinks you should like
right.
retirement. You're like, no, I'm not feeling it. So you go do something else.
Yeah,
You figure
exactly.
out what's gonna make you happy, right? And I
Yeah,
think some of that is with grief too. It's like you have to do some things when you're ready. It's but when you're ready that you can allow the happiness in your life. You can allow like the
yeah.
progress and the things like that. That should be true. It's see now I'm like Mary.
Whoops.
But it's the steps forward so you can have that rich life that really, especially if you've lost somebody, they would want you to have.
Right.
They
Yeah.
want you to like. I think again when I look back at my dad, I know my dad would be like, keep moving forward, kid. Like, what do you
Yeah.
can't keep staying worrying about me, which I talk to him all the time. He's been gone 12 years, but
Right.
it's still, that's my way of managing my feeling having him gone. You know what I mean? I still have
Yeah.
grief over it. It's just changed into something that I can manage much easier in my life. And
Yeah.
because I still miss him. I still miss him all
Yeah.
the
Of
time.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's not about not missing him. I mean,
right,
it'd be BS if you didn't miss him, right?
right,
You
right.
had a relationship that meant something. You know, we
Hmm.
grieve hard over the people who mean a lot to us.
Yeah,
We also grieve hard over the people who don't deserve it. I mean, that's not to say that it's like it's not mutually exclusive, but
right,
we do grieve hard over the people who we feel deserve it, the people who have earned that place for us.
right.
And I like what you said too about kind of like deciding that like you're allowed to move forward in your life.
Yeah,
And it really is, it is permission in a sense. And it's not permission that somebody else can grant you.
no,
It's permission that you have to grant yourself to be able to say, I know that I can be sad right now. I can
mm,
also continue to be sad in the future, but it doesn't mean that my life has to stop. It doesn't mean that I have to give everything up. And I also would like to think that my partner or cat or whatever
yeah,
would not want me to do that, to put myself on hold. You know,
right.
there is that degree of like self permission that
Hmm.
needs to happen in the grief process at some point, and that's really the turning point. That's when the light goes off or on. The light does something,
So the
and
light does some changes. Yeah.
the light does light things, and that's when that happens. You know, where it's just like, okay,
Right.
I may not feel okay for a long time. And I
Hmm.
have to find a way to be okay with that because how I feel right now is not sustainable if I think that I can't get through it, if I think that I can't walk where I need to walk. Um,
Yeah.
that's such a moment for people to have. And it's like, it's so hard. It's so hard to get
Mhm.
there. And it's hard to like try to get somebody there only because it's like that's an inside job to get to
Oh, yeah.
where, you know,
Yeah.
you can feel that way, you can think that way and carry it through. That's
Hmm.
really hard to
Information on my
do, but
services, visit theadjustmentphase.com. Let me know what you think in the comments and follow along for more.